Hello folks, my gosh, welcome to Funk Fridays. Today we're looking at that beast of a lick by Joe Bonamasa on Just Got Paid live at Hammersmith Apollo on YouTube. So it's a great solo and it goes on for quite some time, but we're just going to look at that entrance. We are in E minor pentatonic on the 12th fret, or E blues. So it starts off coming in on the, you have to listen to the timing, it comes in after the 4, so it's like on the and, or maybe even after. And we get a bend on the 12th fret, 14th, a whole tone, and then we're going to go 12, 12, back down to 12 on the B, and then we're going to bend on the 15, giving loads of vibrato. Okay, next we're going to go 12 on the E, 12 on the B, 15 on the B, and we're going to do a bend on the 14 to the 15. So this, what we're doing here was we're actually using the E Dorian scale. So we're mixing the E blues scale with the E Dorian scale. Which adds a really interesting color and sound. For those of you who know a little bit about music theory, what we're doing, the E Dorian scale is basically the second step. Not basically, it is the second step of the D major scale, all right? Really cool. So we bend up once on the 14, and then we bend up again and then down to the 12. So we've gone, oh my gosh, hold on. Oh yeah, sorry. So we've gone bend up and down to the 12, 14 on the G, 12 on the G. I think I'm pulling off from the 14 to the 12 as well. Yeah. And now what we're doing is we're bending on the 14 to the 15 again. We're going to hit the 14 on the E string and then back down onto the B string. So we've gone. And then we bend back down. So we've gone. So then we're going to bend on the G. So this whole thing is a tongue twister again. So here we're bending up from the 14 and down 12. Sorry, yeah, and then 14 on the A, 12 on the D, 14 on the D again. So let me do that really slowly. Now comes a really cool lick where we're kind of stepping up in fourths. So a fourth in an interval is, if you're in A, it would be A, B, C, D. So you'd go A to D. Okay? In this case, he's hammering on from the 12 to the 14 on the A string, and then we're going 14 on the D. So we're going 14, 14, 12, 12 onto the G, Ds. So we're just kind of crossing over the strings like that. 14, 14, 12, 12. Now when we get to here, obviously we're following the shape of the pentatonic, so we're going to go 15, 14. So we're going. Now we jump onto the 12. We do a bend on the 14 to 15 again. And he adds vibrato. I mean, Joe Bonamasa adds vibrato where you think other humans couldn't add vibrato. He's just flying around, cheeky bit of vibrato. So we go. And then we go in 12. Slide from the 14 on the G to the 16. To the 15 on the B. 15 on the E. So we got. Now this is all just outlining the E blues or E minor pentatonic. When you're hitting the 14, you're playing the Dorian sound, okay? What I call this the Dorian sound, and this one is just kind of the minor sound, the E minor sound, because it's more associated with that, I think, but it's the same with the Dorian as well, because they both have the same step. Okay, so we've gone. Now we're doing a wail here, right? So we're going from the 17th to the 19th. Okay. 15, 17, 17. And finishing on the 15. And then. So 17, 16, 15, 17. And don't forget what we're talking about here when we're soloing is not imitating or ripping off directly, but using it as your own. Just trying to mess around and play around and turn that into your vocabulary. Something like that, you know, just really experiment with that. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, now we're coming up to the Dorian again, the Dorian 6. So we do a bend from the 14 to 15. Then we go straight to the 15. 12. 14. So go. Again, he likes these sort of sidestepping or hopping over. So we've gone up. Okay, so you've gone 14, 15, 12, 14, 14, 12, 12, 14, 14. Think of it like it's that kind of idea, yeah? And this is a really good example of where lick ideas or patterns can actually become really musical, because he doesn't go all the way up and down the scale, he just goes. Yep. So we've got. So we go back up to the 12, and now we're going to bend on the 14. Pretty much the same lick as the beginning, but a little bit different rhythm. So you got. Now comes the riff of death, all right? The monster from the great deep. So we're going 12 on the E, pull off on from the 15 to the 12 on the B, land on the 14 on the G, back up to the 12, back up to the 12. So that's like a sweep. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to pull off from the 15 to the 14 to the 12. 15 on the B string. Back up to the 14 on the E string. Okay, okay, and pull off to the 12. Now we're going to pull off again from the 15 to the 12 on the beat. Okay, so we're going. We're going to bend on the 15, up to the 12 on the E string, back down to the 15, pull off to the 12, back up to the 15, up to the 12 on the E. So all that so far. He has vibrato there as well. Now we're going pull off from the 15 to the 12, landing on the 14 of the G. That happens twice. Up once to the 12 on the B, and then we're going to pull off from the 14 to 12 on the G, 14 to 12 on the D, slide down to the 9 on the D, and land on the 10th of the A. Now, one thing I always tell my pupils at Ultranum Guitar School is try and think about what key you're in, what scale you're in, what shape you're in. So he's not just sliding randomly. What we're outlining now is the E blues down there. So he's landing on the 5th and then the 3rd. You could also look at it from this shape. They're all in the same thing, right? They're all the same solo. They're all the same scale. Okay, just different shape. So when you're sliding, what you should do is go, okay, well, what part of the scale or what pattern or shape is he sliding to? It's not just sliding to 9 and 10. Try not to think of it like that, because otherwise you're wasting potential to use these ideas elsewhere. If you just learn it like numbers, 12, 14, 12, 14, rather than steps of the scale and where it is in the pattern, you're not going to be able to take this idea elsewhere. So for example, if we're jamming in B, I can go. You see what I mean? I can take those ideas because I know where they are in relation to the scale and the key. Okay, so let's just recap. So we've gone the riff of death. So we bend up from the 14. Now we're going to pull off. Yeah, so 12 and then pull off on the 15. Sweep up. Sorry, I didn't go up to the 12 again there. So I'll do one more time slowly. And then he goes into some crazy other stuff, which we will cover at another date if you want to. So just add some comments and ask about it. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. It was exciting to learn. It's a crazy little lick. And if you've got any questions, just put them in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next Friday for some more funk, jazz, and blues.